Here is a World War II German tank. Here is a Cold War German tank. Here's a German something. And here is Cone of Arc, a fellow YouTuber riding a German tank. What do these things all have in common? Well, thanks to the World of Tanks and the Canadian Tank Museum in Oshawa, myself and Cone of Arc and a few other fellow members of the YouTube community were able to attend the Aquino Tank Weekend, which was an absolutely incredible summer weekend-long event with tanks, explosions, reenactments, and all sorts of good stuff. I'll put the links into the videos of both Cone of Arc's and my other videos that I've done on this experience on the description box below. But today, we're looking at a rather unique opportunity to look at a tiny little World War II tank, even smaller than some of the ones you're looking at in this video, and be hosted by Cone of Arc and the Chieftain to understand a little bit about the Hetzer. Yes, now look, folks, you all know I know nothing about World War II vehicles, history or technology in its grand military scheme of things, because it's just really not my thing. But that does not mean I don't take interest of those who actually do know and have the educational background or the experience and understanding of these kind of vehicles, and being able to attend the Aquino Tank Weekend from the Canadian Tank Museum and World of Tanks give me the opportunity for Cone of Arc and for the Chieftain to actually explain a little bit about this unique World War II ambush vehicle. And I have to admit, I'm a pretty big dude, and getting in and out of this thing was not enjoyable. If you were a German tank, remember, back in World War II working on the Hetzer, I don't think they selected the bigger boys. Big lanky British dude trying to get out of a German sloped mini tank. Oi.
You two first. All four crew bailing out of a Hetzer.
Yeah. But in all seriousness, it was really cool to have the Chieftain and the Cone of Arc, who are subject matter experts on these kind of vehicles, guide me and my cameraman and Cone of Arc's cameraman through the details and intricacies of the Hetzer, which is a very unique tank, a kind of ambush vehicle, and I learned a lot about what this thing can do. But as I said, as a crew, we weren't exactly the most graceful getting in and out of this thing, and you'll notice later on in some footage potentially coming from the Chieftain or Cone of Arc of us trying to actually escape from this vehicle when it was on fire. But without further ado, I'm going to let Cone of Arc take over and the Chieftain, let them kind of guide us through and on the understanding of what the Hetzer's all about.
Welcome everyone. As you can see, a familiar face with me right now inside a Hetzer. There is 4 of us in here. I don't know how it's happened on a very hot day in the middle of July, but there's 4 adult men inside of a Hetzer on a hot day like this. But it's a lot of fun. So Cone of Arc, you know of him on YouTube, a very prominent armor historian and military historian in general, and a very good subject matter expert on this particular vehicle because he's actually talking about it at the Aquino weekend this weekend. He did a fantastic job yesterday, by the way, sir, of doing a little intro to this vehicle. And I don't know really much about this vehicle at all, so could maybe you just explain a little bit about it and, of course, about your beautiful channel?
Well, as I said in when I was out with the vehicle running yesterday, this is probably one of the more successful of the German tank destroyers, even though, as we are quickly becoming aware, it's not very nice to be in here. But unlike a lot of the other interwar, late war, or mid-war to late war German projects, it didn't get big, overcomplicated, and heavy. This is actually a very simple design for the most part, and fairly practical, I would say. It was more intended as almost like a mobile field gun. So you're pulling this thing up, using it to ambush tanks. Decent frontal armor, not the greatest, not the worst. Enough to maybe take a hit while you're backing away, because you never want to turn, because the sides on these things, it'll go right through and you'll be done. Especially me, because the 2 behind me have to get out before I could, and I'd be screwed in that sort of situation.
Nice. So, and like, in the reality of things, right, in a combat scenario, there's chaos in here. There's a lot of things going on. So we got the loader here, myself as the gunner, little optic here. Can actually traverse a little bit in this kind of sliding mechanism. We made a bit of a joke about how there's 0 air conditioning. There is just a little bit. And it's just this little gap here. That is the only airflow we have. And also just in terms of how difficult it is to get access and, you know, being able to operate the breech. So the loader actually has to reach over to operate the breech, which in itself is not only kind of dangerous, but just a lot of manual labor. These rounds, as you can see, plugged along the side of the vehicle. There'd be some more behind me here. The logistics of moving around that large, around this area. I mean, you know, Mike, my cameraman, he does have quite a bit of room on this side, but even then, there's a lot of moving parts going on here. I can't imagine when you're in an ambush position, once you do put that first round down range, they know you're there. maybe it'll take him a little bit of time to find you because these would, I would assume, be quite heavily camouflaged with foliage.
They were intended to basically sit in some sort of concealed position along the edge of a wood, something like that, where they're not going to be easily spotted. Right. And this is very low profile. There's a Sherman sitting right next to it, and you can see this is almost half the height. So it's a very low profile machine.
Yeah, yeah. And in terms of speed, these obviously being an ambush vehicle needed to pull out quickly. Are these able to reverse fairly fast if they were being engaged? Or?
I can't say I recall the exact reverse speed of this, but I don't remember it being particularly fast, but I'm sure it's fast enough to get you out of trouble.
Get you out of trouble, yeah. I mean, that's what you want with an ambush vehicle, is something that can pull out quickly. One thing I noticed very, very well, even with Warrior, is being that it was an infantry fighting vehicle, it needed to stop, drop off the troops, and get out of the location quickly. So in an ambush vehicle like this, you know, to Cone of Arc's point, if you did get engaged from the front, you don't have a huge amount of protection there, so this thing does need to bug out quite quickly. I really love the world of ambush vehicles that are kind of sitting in wait, like a hidden tiger kind of setup, firing and getting out of there. It's nice to see the heavies with the Shermans, right, taking on the tank-to-tank engagements, but something like this as an ambush vehicle is a lot of fun. It's kind of cool to see.
Something else I should add that adds to the chaos you were talking about before with the three of us, and this, we're actually less cramped than we would be because right behind where he's sitting, there would be more ammunition.
So I'd be like this.
We would be even more cramped in here. But our commander is sitting all the way over there, so... oh, don't drop that. So if he needed to shout commands to me as the driver, I'm practically blind up here with these two optics. I can just about see where I'm going. Yeah. But if he's trying to tell me where to go, with the roar of everything going on in here, I don't know how I'm supposed to hear him, even with a headset on, and he can't kick me to tell me which direction to go, so I don't know if he'd have to pass that on to the loader, pass it up here, pass it to me. Sure. I'm not sure exactly how they manage that, but I guess they must have.
Now, we also have another representative of YouTube up here with us today. If you could just show. We have Nick. The Chieftain is in the house. The Chieftain is with us today. So, Chieftain, is there anything you could add to a little bit of unique information about this vehicle?
It's developed from the Panzer 38T, Panzer 38T. It's actually almost none of the external parts are the same. So the road wheels are a different size, the suspension is toughened up. It's simply a development using the same infrastructure. I'm always a big thing about the infrastructure behind a new vehicle. It's never just about the armor and the gun. And I will give the Germans a bit of credit for making it a bit more. Personally, I prefer as a concept the Marder, which is also based off of the Panzer 38T. But that's because I emphasize the ability to see and shoot and move, which this doesn't do. The catch is that if you look at Germany's larger overall situation, where the enemy have air superiority and artillery superiority, suddenly having an armored body does make a little bit more sense. So it's a balance you have to strike. I still think this is a stupidly overrated vehicle. I would not like to fight in it. I've talked to reenactors, they wouldn't like to fight in it, but it's there, what can you do?
It's a unique vehicle. Now, I noticed the radios are there, so I think you were saying about communication inside the vehicle. We would obviously have headsets, I would assume, for the most part.
Obviously.
But the loader, being that he is doing all of that reaching, a headset, I mean, they're not wireless. You got wires going on. You would not want your wire catching the trigger or anything else. I mean, even in terms of gunnery, moving this thing around, I'm here. Like, there's no room for, like, I'm literally right beside myself. And if you're a guy having this right here and you're going fast, and that's not comfortable. That would be pretty terrifying.
Be a little bit more turned. You basically be sitting straight.
Yes, this is true.
If you can even manage to do that.
I will try.
There you go.
But even then.
Backrest up there, Cone.
Oh yeah. Where's the backrest?
Backrest. There we go.
Yeah. Let me get a little more comfortable.
I was going to say, let's get a little bit more authentic in our configuration here.
So yeah, I don't even know if that's better. I mean, I guess you're not going to hit your crotch.
True, but it's still digging it. There's not, and plus the rounds being here, I am locked in this little box, just like this. Yeah. So. But yeah, I mean, of course, in terms of traverse, you don't have a lot of traverse, being the gun is just in its small configuration left and right of arc. But even then, it wouldn't be much fun trying to manipulate this stuff in such a confined space. So, very cool. Okay, anything else you want to add, Cone, about this vehicle? It's kind of unique.
I don't know. Like I said, I really think that this. I'll agree with Chieftain. It is a bit of an overrated vehicle.
Yeah.
But I do have to say, I think that this is one of the few examples of Germany in the late war making a good decision with what they were doing. Maybe it's not the best vehicle they could have produced, but you know what? It was something that they were actually able to produce these so fast, they were outproducing the guns for them.
Wow.
So that was something that they really needed. They needed those vehicles to be able to defend against the overwhelming number of Allied vehicles. So in a lot of ways, this was a fairly good choice, even if the design is heavily flawed.
Heavily flawed, yeah.
Yeah, can you imagine trying to pass around when you're
Yeah.
butt to dick in that thing?
Yeah, so you would be the loader. So you'd have to be reaching over there, loading this
Or
thing.
getting the rounds that are behind that.
Or, yeah,
So there'd be more rounds here?
rounds there,
Holy.
rounds there.
Jeez. And what's the recoil back on this, roughly?
More or less where your hand is. So if you look at the far side, you're going to see a recoil indicator.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So, you know, it should be about halfway back. Anything more than that, you probably have to stop and
Yeah.
check your recuperators.
And empty casings, is that it's not like the Centurion pushing up.
It's a full-size empty case.
Yeah.
And it just goes into that little basket down there, or bag.
Yeah.
Watch your knee.
The fun bit is that the gun was designed for regular field use, so the operating handle is on the far side. So if you want to open the breech,
Yeah.
you gotta reach all the way over.
That'd be fun. Now, would the commander have? I mean, the commander obviously shouldn't be having involvement with the gun, but if the loader's preoccupied, would the commander help out in some regard, just for speed of firing?
I mean, that's a question you have to ask one
Yeah.
of them. I mean,
Yeah.
I can give you the official answer. I can't give you the practical.
Yeah.
You may pass rounds. From the
That's kind of what I was thinking, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe he might even pull the lever if he can reach
Yeah.
it.
They're going to be ambush anyways, right? It's just
Yeah.
gonna be fire, jockey, fire, jockey, fire, jockey. So
That's
if they
it.
have to swap rounds, it's going to be while they're jockeying.
Yeah.
So the one thing you have above you up here, I don't know if you see a little optic.
This guy or this guy?
Yeah.
This guy. Oh, yeah.
That's a remotely operated machine gun.
Watch your fingers.
Oh.
Very cool. Oh, yeah, there's the trigger.
Oh yeah, and this is this optic has a plate so it slides.
Interesting. Now, this vehicle didn't have the smoke grenade pistols in them, right, that could pop?
The Nebo, yeah, I can't pronounce the fucking thing. No, it did not.
Did not have it, right? But the Jagd Panthers did, the lot heavier, larger vehicles, I remember. Very cool.
Max. Oh, look up one more. There we go. Even though you have the remote handle in your face. Yeah, if you pinch the handle and turn it and swivel. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
there it goes.
That's a
So it's
tiny
only got a
little
certain amount of
optic.
degree. The other thing is it only has a certain amount of depression, so once they get in close on you,
You're
you can't
done.
do anything.
You're
Okay,
done.
One more without a handle in your face.
What's the optic here like,
There you go.
Matt?
It's not bad, actually. It's not bad. The reticles are very unique. It's the stadia, there's no range. Well, I'm sure it is a ranging stadia, but I've never seen anything like that before. Very strange. They're lead triangles, which I've not really seen.
Oh yeah, I don't remember what that's called. I remember I've heard what they call it before.
So you can get video of that.
For sure.
I can get out of your way if you want to try to get out these again. Might work better
Oh.
with that.
Oh, there you
Oh,
go.
bugger! The tank is on fire!
Oh, but, you know, if you do that, I will record it.
Okay, we could do that. Let's
we'll
do
definitely
that.
do that when we get.
Yeah,
when
definitely.
we get out.
Definitely.
Well, live action footage of Hetzer crew bailing out. The driver is dead.
This is also highly concerning that there's a drive shaft.
This is a shield.
Yeah.
Oh, it is just a shield.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shielded. It's
I was gonna say that
Yeah,
would
I
have
thought the same
sucked.
thing. I'm like,
Until the shield
ooh.
falls off, as it inevitably will.
Yeah. And I can't imagine the heat inside of here. Like
Oh,
you got
yeah.
everything exposed, everything, gun, transmission, like the whole thing is in with you.
And they didn't bother putting an air vent up here.
A little bit of air ventage here.
Periscope in.
That's your air conditioning right here.
You just put your lips up against it and blow.
Cool. Well, I am
still
not
can't
certainly
go.
the subject matter expert for World War II vehicles, but Cone has a plethora, as you're probably already aware, of really good content, videos on vehicles that I certainly cannot cover because I don't have the subject matter expertise. So please go check out Cone of Arc's videos. He's got some fantastic content. And of course, the Chieftain. We're here at the Aquino tank weekend. It's been absolutely fantastic. But I think we all have to safely agree, boys, we've got to get out of this vehicle. It is hot.
Yeah, it's the 4 people in here. It's definitely starting to heat up.
Awesome. Okay, well, thanks again, Conan. Appreciate you sharing a
very
little bit about
welcome.
Hetzer. And also, thanks again to the Chieftain. And we'll catch you guys later. Thanks, everyone.
So I want to do another massive thanks and shout out to the Aquino Tank Weekend organizers, the Canadian Tank Museum, World of Tanks, and of course, Chieftain and Cone of Arc for supporting me in this event and this particular video. Of course, the people behind the camera as well need a massive shout out. Cone of Arc's cameraman and my cameraman, thank you for supporting us in this little interview here. And I hope you did enjoy the video. Please leave me a like and, of course, some form of comment to let me know of your own input, even on the video or Hetzer or whatever else. And, of course, go check out Cone of Arc and Chieftain's channels. We've got to look out for one another here on the YouTube community. And I really do appreciate you stopping by and watching this video. If you did enjoy it, make sure you subscribe. And I hope to see you on future videos pertaining to maybe some World War II stuff. Who knows? All the best, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.